My name is Miriam Weiskind. I'm the owner of Yums and PDX.
I am Shelly Lynch-Sparks, and I'm the founder and principal of Hyphen Co.
I never thought I'd be a pizza maker, but apparently I was born to be one. When my journey in pizza started in New York, it really started with me becoming a pizza tour guide with Scott's Pizza Tours, teaching people complete history and evolution and the science behind pizza. And it wasn't until 8 years later that I finally started to bake pizza, and I fell in love.
I want to talk to you about the For Mom piece because I think it's it's the heart and soul of the brand. And please don't make me cry, but I want to talk about it. And I also feel like that really drove you to open up your own shop.
Yeah. So For Mom, pandemic was tough. When I started baking pizza, my mom had, she inspired me or gave me the idea to give the pizza away to people in the building that didn't have a job. I put up a menu, and I actually still have the pizza box that just said, "Hey, I'm girl in 2A and I'm making tons of pizza. And if you need a meal or a reason to smile, just knock on my door or text me." And it not only took off in the building, but then other people started picking up traction on this. And what I was doing is I turned a 350 square foot apartment into one of New York's busiest speakeasy pizzerias in a pandemic, making over 5,000 pizzas out of that apartment. By August of 2020, my mom lapped up with COVID. So did my dad. And she was on the ventilator for 5 weeks. And while I was literally rolling dough at Polly G's, that was my daytime job, she passed away. And I remember that night that she passed away. Sorry, I'm getting very teary-eyed, but
Me too.
I still had 20 orders to fill, and as much as I didn't want to, I was like, I have to do this, as my mom would say, you still have to feed people. And that's when we started writing For Mom on the box. It started as something small. It was just helping out my neighbors.
And then that launched the pop-ups, and she was popping up everywhere after the pandemic. It was breweries,
I took over restaurants.
Yeah,
and I traveled.
Birthday parties.
Once we could travel, I started traveling outside of New York, and I took on apprenticeships just all around the country, and learning from some of the most talented artists in pizza all around the country. I didn't realize until about 3 years after the fact that I would embark on the journey of opening up my brick-and-mortar after doing pop-ups for a good deal of time. And it's just because I was tired of packing up my ovens, and more was I just wanted to give people a home. I wanted to be a part of the entire process of making the pizza for them, firing it, and watching them enjoy it in a space I created at home for them. So I came out here to test the waters. Portland is weird, as they say, but Portland represented a great community of pizza makers. And I felt this was my opportunity, my place to be able to focus on the quality of my product over quantity and grow as an artist and create something really special and amazing in the community here.
Initially, when we started the project, we build the concept, we present it to the client. But in this situation, you already had a concept in your mind of how you wanted the space to look and feel. And you gave us 3 pages, even with hands and dough and colors.
The concept is a blend of the things in the mountains that inspire me. I am an ultra trail runner. I run 100 miles through mountains. And I wanted to take elements of the outdoors and bring it into this space. So you have the beautiful dark wood and the forest green. And I wanted to surround myself with that in this space, but also I wanted to create a truly beautiful space for people to sit in. Then in terms of the kitchen, when I walked into the space, I fell in love with the light, and I just this has so much potential. And I was challenged with your team and then the architect was, how do we make this space work so it can be a beautiful open kitchen? Pizza in itself is an art. And so I want people to be able to come into the space and watch the art of the pizza being made. I also want people that are seated to be able to see the flame. I want them to be able to smell the wood and the pizza being made. It was important for me for them to actually be a part of that experience. So
you can see the mood board now. You just described the whole mood board. I think for us, it was just our challenge was you work with all of these old school famous pizza restaurant owners and you learn from the best. You've seen all the designs, and what didn't want was it to feel too bougie. You wanted to nod to a beautiful older pizza restaurant, but also you wanted to modernize it and make it feel like you. We have really nice plain lines throughout all the work, but it's layered. We have this beautiful meat board wainscoting that we installed that's layered behind this walnut wood, and we brought it into pink. It's almost a beautiful salmon color that's bordering on terracotta. And then we have, a classic guinea tile that's applied to the bar with a two-tone, which is really lovely, but also it's a nice surprise, especially when you're sitting in the bar. And the lighting, so important. We reuse the grate here. We changed up the light bulbs. They're taller bulbs. We added pendants over the bar and open space and sconces, behind the baguettes, which is really just like in the evening won't be full.
Yeah, and I got family room. We were originally going to make that into a dough room. And I'm so glad it was so out of budget. Keeping the window, we were going to fill that in. We decided to keep the window, but now you can see into that room.
Yeah.
And it's so special.
The space just feels like really lovely and open in a really nice way, but also it doesn't feel pretentious. This feels like a place that I could celebrate a wedding. I can also come here and bring my family, or it's like your neighborhood pizza restaurant. It feels like it hits and checks all of those boxes.
And doing things that are nostalgic, things that just hug your heart. And we want this to feel like home. That's why we've created the space this way.
Definitely feels like home.